and the Bertex Subaru of defending production car champion Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman. Johnny Gemmell opened his account with a fine stage win over Fecken by 4 seconds, with teammate Cronje occupying 3rd position on the early leaderboard in the brand new Toyota Auris. The Polos of Keane and Williams were 4th and 5th, with Van Niekerk and Damso in a tie for 6th. Wilken was the leading production car, and Latergan completed the top 10 after stage 1. After Ward Trail and back in the service park, it was time to do final preparations for the rest of the day. After the break, the Osram Rally continues with fast and furious action as the teams try to keep their cars on the fast and dangerous roads of the... But the 23 kilometers of Herengness Kloof would be slightly slower. Besides a few rocky and rough patches, this stage would also have a mountain section with big drops into the valleys below. Stage 3, or Valhoek, was only 14 kilometers long, but the roads were fast and sweeping with cambers and blind crests, resembling something you'll find in Finland. Absolute heaven for the brave rally driver. On the opening day of the Osram Rally, Fecken and Aries would be the first ones on all of the day's 4 stages to find out how fast or tough the roads would be. In Herengness Kloof, the BP Ultimate Polo recorded the 4th fastest time and could only manage the 6th fastest time on stage 3. John Williams is still the youngest driver in the top S2000 class, but he's quickly gaining valuable experience, and sometimes things are just not going your way.
Frustrated, hell of a frustrated, because again, we're having problems. Car misfiring from the start of the first stage now, and in this stage the same thing again, just misfiring. Every time we put up and down, the whole time misfiring. So we just lost so much time, it's just frustrating.
Although he maintains that his only aim is to finish every event, Jaapie van Niekerk with Robin Houghton in the hot seat is getting quicker and quicker with every event. Their Toyota set the 6th fastest stage time on stage 2 and equaled the 7th fastest time on stage 3. Van Niekerk had reason to smile.
It was a good one. That was a very good one. We enjoyed it. I made mistakes here and there, but we fine. We enjoyed it.
But rallying is a cruel sport, and Van Niekerk's joy didn't last long. While Van Niekerk was trying everything he could to get the car going, Houghton explains.
No problem in the car team stage, and suddenly, yeah, on the open section we were cruising along and the car started misfiring and eventually just died completely.
Keane and Hodgson were going flat out to recover some of the time lost in stage 1 due to the loose bonnet. 5th fastest in stage 2 didn't do it, but the quickest time in stage 3 definitely did.
It was very slippery in there.
The Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru of Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich was the first of the production cars to tackle this loop of stages without any service in between. A mistake or problem on any of these 2 stages will stay with you all the way until the end of the day. Wilken took it a bit too easy and lost some time to his main class N4 rivals.
Yeah, it's quite fast, but it's much better than the previous one.
Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh have nothing to lose as far as the overall championship is concerned, so the pairing went flat out in their last outing in the Cashfall Toyota Runnings. For the next event, Gemmell will also be in a new Auris. They completed 2 excellent stages to maintain their overall lead and to establish themselves as the team to beat at the Osram Rally. JP Damso and Kobus Frey are due for a good result and were well on course to achieve just that. The Total Evolution Toyota Runnings blasted through Herengness Kloof in the 2nd fastest time of all and followed it up with a 5th on stage 3.
Yeah, the one before this was a nice stage for us. This one was a bit quick again, not committed, so see tomorrow if we can get more committed.
The 3rd of the BP Ultimate Polos was having a safe and conservative afternoon, with Habig and Judd struggling to keep up with the leading pace. With Gemmell, Keane and Damso all setting blistering stage times, Mark Cronje and Robert Pacey knew what they had to try and beat, and that's exactly what they did. The Auris won stage 2 by 6 seconds and only gave away 3 seconds in stage 3 to move into 2nd overall.
We're starting to settle down. The previous stage was a little bit more tight, and yeah, it was really, really good. It was a nice feeling to drive it through that. So I'm looking forward to some more of the tighter bits, and hopefully we can work on the faster bits.
Behind the leaders, Nicholas Ryan and Andre Vermeulen in the Philips Toyota Runnings were still trying to recover from the time lost in stage 1.
It's feeling better every time, but I've got a miss, it's still there.
In the battle between the production cars, Latergan and Van der Merwe drove brilliantly to fly straight into the production car lead after stage 2 in their Steve's Auto Clinic Subaru. Paul Pfeiffer and Cindy Harding were also on the move and getting to grips with their Nobili Subaru Impreza from ProDrive in England. Pfeiffer showed some of his speed by setting the equal third fastest stage time of all the cars in stage 3. The Pertex Subaru of defending production car champion Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman was again flying like always, although they had some time to make up behind leaders Lategan, Pfeiffer and Wilken.
The previous stage we did the fastest time with a loose back wheel. Not the wheel itself, the whole hub is loose.
So after stage 3 and 80 competitive kilometers, Gemmel was leading by 6 seconds in his last outing in the Toyota Runnix, followed by teammate Cronier behind the wheel of the new Auris. From first on the road, Ficken was only 9 seconds off the lead, with Keen and Damso in a battle for fourth. Van Niekerk still shows on the leaderboard as he retired after stage 3, and Lategan leads the production car brigade by 12 seconds. Stage 4 of the Osram was a short 2-kilometer affair at the showgrounds in Berkeley East. It was also the last chance for the drivers to try and improve on their respective positions, although only 2 kilometers isn't really enough to do anything to the overall standings. Jan Habig and Douglas Judd got their names on the scoreboard to claim a stage victory in the BP Ultimate Polo, but at the top of the leaderboard, it was all about Gemmel and Cronier. Behind the S2000s and production cars, the rest of the 40-car field also had a taste of the fast Osram roads. In Class A7, the rapid front-wheel drive class, Tian Subad and Henny Boertes took the early initiative in their Salom Group Polo by setting the fastest time in stage 1. Hubert's good run soon came to an end when he lost the rear axle of his Polo on the roughest section in stage 2. This allowed veteran and current class points leaders Chris de Wit and Dean Redlinghuis to take the lead yet again in their Team Total Evolution Runnix. A good result at the Osram could end up in the class championship for de Wit and Redlinghuis, who managed to hang onto the class lead for the rest of the day. Behind de Wit, Special Vehicles off-road racing champion Evan Hutchison and Greg Gericke in the Motorride Toyota Runnix were starting to show some good pace in their 6th ever national rally, making second in class their own on day 1. Adrian Carth and Rikus Fourie and their Net Connect Polo moved into 3rd place, but had to retire in stage 4 following a blown head gasket. This allowed Gugu Zulu and Carl Peskin to occupy 3rd in Class A7, despite losing around 15 minutes in stage 1. Everyone was hoping for another great tussle between the Class A6 warriors. Stefan Wilken and Llewellyn Fourie in the Panar Seeds Polo blasted out of the blocks and took the early class lead, a lead they would hold on to for the rest of the day. Class veterans and current championship leaders Craig Trott and Tony Ball in the Team Total Evolution Toyota Runnix settled into 2nd position behind the Polo. Trott and former driver-turned-navigator Tony Ball would also have seen these roads before and weren't taking any chances that could compromise their championship lead. The hard-charging Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin were the 2nd team to debut a brand-new Toyota Auris, the first Auris to compete in Class A6. Musa had very little time to test the car and to iron all the teething problems out. Besides losing a massive amount of time in stage 2 due to those teething problems, Musa managed to set competitive times on the rest of the stages to lie in 3rd. In Class A5, the training ground for future stars Chad Conradi and Tian Rabe continued their recent run of good form in the Techwood Toyota Taz by taking the class lead in stage 1 and holding on to it for the rest of the day. Steve Mearns and Kieran Noonan drove their multi-purpose cement Toyota Taz into 2nd in class for one of their best performances so far. They finished the day just 15 seconds from the class lead. Dave Compton and Derek Jacobs in the Sassel Toyota Yaris were lying in 3rd, and with more than 100 kilometers of special stage distance waiting to be covered on day 2, is still within striking distance. Class N3, the production car class for cars up to 2 liters in engine size, probably provided the drive of the day. Etienne Lawrence and Alvin Coetzee not only drove the HRD and Ford Racing Fiesta to a very comfortable class lead, but ended the day in a fantastic 12th position overall and ahead of much faster machinery. Perhaps this wasn't a surprise because Etienne Lawrence still owns the title of Osram King of the Mountains, following his previous overall win year 4 years ago. Class championship leaders Rodney Versace and Callan Swan in their Team Total Evolution Runnix had no answer for the Flying Fiesta and only managed to sneak into 2nd place after the Jonas Way Toyota Runnix of Chase Atwell and Dave Milner ran into some trouble. Etienne de Toy and Patrick Vermaak were enjoying their first taste of the Osram mountain roads and occupied 3rd in their Sassel Toyota Runnix. Husband and wife Rian and Hestrie Erasmus were again the only entrants in Class N2, but had a faultless day behind the wheel of the ABC Motors Toyota Corolla. So with 84 kilometers under the belt, Johnny Gemmel ended the first day of the Osram Rally with a slender 1-second lead from his teammate Mark Cronier in the brand new Auris. From first on the road, Fecken drove well to only be 12 seconds adrift, with Keen and Damso still in their own battle for fourth. Latergan was leading Wilken and Duplessis in the production car chase.
The plans for tomorrow is really just to carry on where we left it today and make changes, get the car more optimized, and we're making some more changes now, and I think it's going to be a positive step forward again.
Yeah, look, I think for the day we've been driving in front, and the two guys who are ahead of us were driving 5th and 6th or 7th, 8th on the road, so I don't think it's too bad. We'll get a better position tomorrow and we'll push and see if we can catch it.
Tomorrow we want to choose 8. I think the further down a bit better it gets, because you know the guys in the front are sweeping a little bit and it makes a bit of difference.
Chris de Wit was well on track to be crowned the first-class champion of 2008, with a comfortable lead over the Motorrad Runnix of Evan Hutchison, with Guguzdulu more than 15 minutes behind. Stefan Wilken was again setting the pace in Class A6 ahead of Trott, while Musa was experiencing teething problems in his new Aurus. Only 42 seconds separated the first 3 A5 runners, with Steve Mearns the meat in the Conradi and Compton sandwich. And what a performance by the reigning king of the mountain, Etienne Lawrence in the little Ford Fiesta. He was chased by the Toyotas of Versaghi and Detroit. Day one of the Osram was a thing of the past, and as the sun started to set, a typical Eastern Cape cold front started to move in, bringing with it some uncertainty and anticipation for day two. After the break, we return to an even more windy, wet and cold Osram Rally.
Morning, day two of the Osram Rally, and as you can see, windy and dusty has now turned into wet and misty, which means that the teams are now allowed to use wet tires.